It was just the working the floor part for me. What is up, LangsGang? Good afternoon. It's currently 5:55 in the evening. I just wanted to tell you guys what it's like working at the hospital, for like the hospital that I work at. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Shania, and we are a PCA at a hospital, and I just started about a month ago, and I'm just gonna share my experience with you guys. I have some stuff written down here, so we're gonna start with what shift I work. I work the night shift. I love the night shift. It's great, and we get paid extra, so that's even better. I work in the float department, so usually sometimes I'll go to the ED, sometimes I'll go to the upper floors, like the 5th floor, the 9th floor to sit. But mostly I'm on the tele floor because that floor always needs help. They're always short all the time. So I'm mostly on the tele floor. I'm gonna tell you guys what an average day for me is like. Okay, so I go to work like around 11 because that's when the night shift starts, at 11 p.m. Go to work at 11. The first thing I do is get a computer, sit down, throw my stuff at the computer. Then I go get paper, write down my assignment. I usually write down the room numbers and then the nurse that belongs to that room number. And then I will go and get a report from the off-going PCA that has my patients. And then after I get reports, I go sit at the computer that I claimed. And then I start making my patient chart. So at my job, we use Cerner. It's really quite easy to use. I'm not sure what you use at your hospital, but we use Cerner. So I go to the patient's list and I click whatever floor I'm on and add the patients that I have onto my patient's list. And then we have to establish the relationship. And then after we establish the relationship, we can see like everything on the patients. And then after that, I would go get a phone. We use phones at my hospital. Go get a phone, and then I would log into Responder, select all of my patients that I have for that night, and add them to my Responder so that every time they hit the call bell, I can answer it on my phone. We have to answer the call bells within 5 to 10 minutes of them ringing. I leave my phone everywhere, so I never know if my patients are calling me, which is not great. I usually like to keep it in the pants, in the lower pocket of my scrub pants, but sometimes I just forget that I don't have it in my pocket. Like if I run down to the lab and I'll leave my phone on the desk, but yeah, so log into Responder, add all the patients. Then after that, I go do vitals. I'm gonna tell you guys how I do vitals. I take the people's vitals, write it down on a piece of paper, and then I write the time that I took those vitals so that they're accurate in the computer. Go from patient to patient to patient to patient to patient until you're all done, write down vitals. Then after that, I will go into the computer, click the vitals button, and then I would click the time, insert the time that I actually took the vitals, and then insert the vitals. If they're high, call the nurse, let them know that the vitals are high. It's usually the blood pressure is high. Sometimes we'll have people with temperatures, but call the nurse, let them know, all that. And then at this point, after you've done all the vitals, go through and I make sure if I have any incontinent patients, I change them, empty out their urinals, empty out their Foleys, and then I write those down because we need those at the end of the night. Write those down and then empty out any like drainage bags that they have, empty those out because we also need to write those down because we need those for I's and O's at the end of the night. And then after that, we really don't do anything until like 2 o'clock unless the patients or the nurse needs you to do something. But other than that, we don't do anything after that until 2 o'clock because at 2 o'clock, that is when blood starts to come. And what I mean is that the lab will send up the slips for the blood that we need to get on our patient. And at this point, we go get the blood stickers, and then we make like little blood bags for each of the patients. Yeah, we put like the needles, the stickers, the tape, the gauze, the alcohol pads, what is the thing called? The tourniquets. Like, we put all that in the bag with the patient stickers, and we do that for each patient. And then we go draw blood. Sometimes we will have extra blood that we need to draw. The nurse will tell us if we have any extra blood. And if the patient has any EKGs, we do those too. And then after that, we send the blood downstairs. We have to physically walk the blood downstairs, which is always fun. And then after that, it's time to change everybody again. And then at the end of the night, we do I's and O's, which is like how many times they went to the bathroom, did they poop, how much pee did they let out, how much liquid came out their drainage bag, how much did they drink, how much did they eat, etc., etc. I had also forgot to mention that usually sometimes during the night we do get admissions in the hospital. So what you have to do is you have to set up the room. Well, the nurse will tell you if it's a male or female patient. If we have a male patient, we have to get a urinal, and it also depends on what floor you're on. So on the tele, I'm going to just tell you guys what the tele floor is like, because I'm always on that floor. So for the tele floor, you need the leads, urinal, incontinence pads, wipes, all the basic stuff like soap, lotion, toothpaste, toothbrush, all that stuff. On the tele floor, they have special gowns so that you can put the tele monitor in the pocket. You need one of those. You need washcloths, towels, all that stuff. So after, when the patient gets there, you need to take account of all of their valuables that they have. So if they have a purse, if they have a wallet, do they have any money or credit cards or bank cards in their wallet? Do they have any watches, any rings, any cell phone charger, shoes, shirts, sneakers, socks, all that stuff. Because once the patient leaves, we want to make sure that they have all of their belongings. And if you have a female, you usually get a pure wig, and then all the other stuff that I mentioned for the male besides the urinal. And then for the pure wig, you need a little pure wig thing that you put in between the labia. And then you need the pure wig tubes, and then you need the pure wig container where the urine gets collected in. It's just a whole lot of stuff. And then you have to take their weight, put that in the computer, figure out if they can walk on their own, and they have to relay that to the oncoming shift. It's just a lot of work. And I'm going to tell you guys also what it's like to sit, because as a float, we work the floor sometimes, and then we also sit sometimes. So when you're a sitter, you basically do kind of the same thing, but it's only for one patient. So come in, check the board, see if you're sitting or see if you're working the floor. If you're sitting, then you would go relieve the sitter that's already sitting with the patient. They would give you a report on the patient, tell you why you're sitting with the patient. They could be a suicide, they could be behavioral, whatever they need a sitter for, they're supposed to tell you so you know. And then you set up the responder, you set up the charts. Because usually when you're sitting with the patient, they're Q15 or they can be Q30, but all of the patients that I've ever been with are Q15. So you just have to sit there and like just watch them. Sometimes I turn on the TV. If they're asleep and they're not talking to me, I'll turn on their TV, watch the news, like surf the web or like go on TikTok. You're not supposed to do that, but like they're asleep. I like when they're awake because they will talk to you. Like they will talk you to death. They will ask you for 101 things, and it will make the night go by fast. But I think I would rather sit than to work the floor any day. Also, you need to take their vitals if you're sitting. Like basically you do everything that you would do on the floor, But for one patient, like if they're incontinent, you have to change them. If they go to the bathroom, like you have to walk with them to the bathroom. Like you have to stay on them like white on rice. Like you cannot leave that sick patient by themselves, because God forbid they escape or they try to kill themselves. Like you're held accountable, because you're supposed to be watching them 24/7. You cannot leave them alone. And then, like I said, you do eyes and nose, all that good stuff. Yeah. Why did I choose to be a flow, and do I like it? I literally applied to this hospital like 3 times. The first time it was a open interview, and I told them I wanted to be in the ICU, but I didn't end up getting hired. Then the second time I applied for the ICU, she was gonna hire me, but it was a 40-hour position, and at that point in time I was going to school, so she didn't really want me to do 40 hours and then turn around and go to school full time, you know. And then the third time I applied for a float position, and I got it. I worked 32 hours at the hospital. Do I like it? I like sitting. I like the sitting part of being a float. Working the floor, I don't really like it. I'm on the tele floor almost every time I'm working the floor, because the tele floor is always so short, and I absolutely hate that floor. I email my manager every day telling her not to put me on that floor, because I literally hate it. Like, the nurses there are so rude. They're disrespectful. Some of the aides there, they're just like, they don't help you. It's just a hot mess on that floor, and I literally hate that floor so much. But I mean, we gotta make it do what it gotta do, right? I know somebody's gonna ask this. Do you get trained for your phlebotomy, and do you get trained for your CPR? Yes. Your job is supposed to train you on how to do your job. That's why you go to orientation for. So the way my orientation went, we had like a week of in-class orientation where we went over phlebotomy, we went over CPR, we did CPR on the dummies, and then we got a certificate. Actually, I need to print mine out because I don't have like a little paper copy. I only have like a digital copy. Yeah, so I am CPR certified. I am phlebotomist certified, kind of. Like, I did the 25 sticks, but I haven't gotten like a little certificate saying that I'm a phlebotomist. And I don't think I got my phlebotomist raised either, but yeah, but you do get trained for that. Your job is supposed to train you for that, or send you somewhere for somebody to train you for that. What was my orientation like? My orientation, like I said, my in-class orientation was only like a week, and then after that I was sent to do like shadowing, like shadow orientation. My first week of shadow orientation was great. Loved all of my preceptors. I guess I can call them that. I loved all of them. And then my second week of shadowing preceptorship was kind of a nightmare. I had this one girl, she made me do her whole assignment, and she just sat there and did nothing. And then she yelled at me because I wasn't doing the job right. And I'm like, sis, you're supposed to be watching me. So then the other aide is yelling at her because she's yelling at me because I'm on orientation and she's supposed to be watching me do my job. And it was just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. And then I ended up being on my own, and it was good for a little bit. And then recently I've just been like not liking going to work because I'm always on the tele floor and I literally hate that floor. But I just need to suck it up and get it together because I've only been by myself for like a month and I've already called out like 3 times. I need to get it together. Oh, I make a little bit more than $20 an hour at my hospital. So yeah, I need to get it together because this is a good paying job and they have good benefits at my hospital. And I like working at my hospital. It's just that I don't like working on the 4th floor. Also, I'm gonna tell you guys what my favorite floor is. If I can go to the ICU, bro, I would go to the ICU. You don't do nothing in the ICU. You just sit there the whole time in the ICU. But I would also go to the 8th floor, which is the behavioral health floor. If I could apply to the 8th floor, trust me, I would. But they don't have any positions open. I just applied for a sitter position because I literally don't like working the floor. I don't. Like, I would rather go to the nursing home than to work the floor at the hospital. Yeah. Let me see. Let me tell you guys about when I first started drawing blood. It was a nightmare. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I would just be poking people, and there would be no blood, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go get somebody else to poke you, because I'm not poking you no more. But I think I got the hang of it. Some patients are hard sticks, so like, I'll poke them once, and I'm like, I'm not poking you no more. I will either pass the stickers on to the day shift, or I'll see if another girl can try to get the stick for me, because girl, boy, whoever, some of those sticks are hard, and the nurses, they literally cannot even attempt to stick patients because I guess it's against their contract at my hospital. So, but some nurses, they will do it. Like, some of them are nice like that. But I kind of hope I get this sitter position. Like, I don't even care if there's a pay cut. I just can't work the floor anymore. I was like my mom, I was like, working is not for me. Like, I would rather just be like a stay-at-home mom. Like, a stay-at-home wife. And like, just send my husband to go work. Because working is not for me. It's really not for me. If I had a choice to go back to the nursing home, trust me, I would go back to the nursing home in a freaking heartbeat. But I like the hospital setting. Like, I learn new things there every day. Literally every day I learn something new. It was just the working the floor part for me that I don't like. I definitely thought this video was going to be longer than what it is. This video is literally like 17 minutes long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions that I did not talk about in this video, make sure you leave them in the description, because I feel like I really didn't hit a lot of stuff, because I literally only have like 7 questions on this paper that I could think of. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I will answer them for you. And maybe if you guys leave enough questions, we could do an updated video, because I was running out of stuff to say. I think I'll do like an updated video like once I'm like 6 months in by myself. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Whoa. Bye.
I'm unstable and I'm unsteady. I've lost a million times already, and I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to slow me down.